Alrighty then. Okay. Here we go again for take number 2. So I'm just testing some stuff out today. I had some audio glitches last night in the show. I watched the show back today and I heard what you guys heard, which was pretty much crappy audio. It seems to be okay now. I need your feedback if you can hear everything clearly and not all like the way it was last night. If you were tuned in last night, you would know what I'm talking about. But there was definitely some audio issues, specifically with the mic. And I think the guitar and all that stuff was okay, but I tweaked it a little bit today, though. So it should be a lot better today. So if you can give me a heads up and let me know if it sounds okay. Sounds better today. Okay, so we're not getting that. Does it sound more like a normal mic? Sounds good. No distortion. Good. Okay. I don't know what happened last night. I didn't change any of my settings from previous live streams, so it shouldn't have sounded any different than it usually does, but it obviously did. And so I went back to the drawing board and reset a bunch of levels and worked with it today. And the only way I could, because in here it sounded good last night, but what went out to the stream was not good. So a little bit disappointed with that. So you know me, yeah, I'm just going to keep plugging away and keep tweaking stuff until I get it to sound like it should, because it's not acceptable. If I'm going to waste somebody's time for an hour on air, it better be good quality, or else it's not worth doing. So I'm hoping that fixed it. I'm going to do a couple of tests with the guitar and some really good for voice. Good. All right, I'm going to do a couple of tests with the music and guitar. In the intro music, it should have sounded okay, and I was kind of playing along with the track, so you should have heard that. But I'll try a couple of, jamming things here. I also need to try it with the iPhone, because last time, the week before that, I was having issues with that connection. So yeah, and I've also set the stream for 720. I'm kind of testing that out right now. I've got an encoder that can do a little bit better with the limited bandwidth that I do have. And so I've set that up. Again, this is a test today, so it's a no better reason to push the system as far as I think it can go while we're doing a test, because if the stream drops or anything, it's just a test. So I'm letting you guys know that now. But yeah, definitely if you can select 720 for quality on your YouTube player there, that would be cool, because then you can let me know how that looks and if it's okay. A bit quiet, but I can turn up the volume. Yeah, well, I think it's okay. I mean, I could turn it up a little bit, but I just, maybe for the voice I can turn up a little bit, but I think the music is okay. Hold on, let me see if I can do that real quick. Test, 1 2, test 1 2. So hopefully that brings up the volume a little bit. Good. So the guitar should be plenty loud. So that should sound okay, I'm hoping. I won't know until I actually listen back to it, but you guys can let me know here on the live stream. Let me see. Let me just do... So I bumped it up a little bit more. I'm hoping that will be good enough for the volume, for the mic anyway. Let me see about running the track. Test 1 2, test. That's weird. Test 1 2, test 1 2. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this this track here and jam with it, and you guys let me know if anything changed. Let me see. Bam says doesn't seem to change the volume, but both voice and guitar sound balanced volume-wise. Okay, that's good. Music is super duper too awesome. Okay, well, at least it's nice to hear that we might have fixed a few issues. See, the problem with these things are that you can test all the time and you can run your scenarios, but until you actually go live, like last night, there was nothing really that changed here other than I changed some levels up today to try to even everything out and take out that weird, it was a weird modulation type of sound in the mic, and I don't know what caused that because there's nothing in the system that changed. So again, it's frustrating, but I guess the only way you're going to find out is if you work with it and tweak it a little bit and figure out what works and what doesn't. The other thing that was not working, and I think I fixed it, is my zoom on my focus on my mic or on my camera works, but when you bring up something close to the lens, it wasn't focusing. So let me try that. So if I do that, yeah, so now that's working. That's working okay. Good. And by the way, if you're wondering what this is, it's actually a Bluetooth headset module. This connects to my helmet, and my wife has the same piece on her helmet. What that does, it connects to your navigation and your iPhone, and basically we can talk to each other on our bikes. So going down the road, I can just hit the button here and talk to her, let her know, okay, we're going to be turning over here or something like that, or we can just have a discussion. This can also take phone calls and stuff. So it's all inside, like it's on the side of my helmet, and a little clamp thing here. And the speakers are inside my helmet, so it's pretty cool. So you can listen to music, and if you have navigation on or whatever, it'll give you your directions through the headset. So this is a product from Senna. A lot of motorcycle people use these, and a lot of people use them in other scenarios as well. They come with different kits that you can use. The other thing I want to try with, I've got the new model of this ordered. So this is the 20S. I've got the 50S ordered, and it should be I've got to call the company today, but it should be coming this week. This is the older version, and it's okay, but it's got older Bluetooth technology, so sometimes it cuts in and out, which is a little bit annoying. But the new one is supposed to be a lot better, and the new one also has a mic out input. So what I'm hoping to do is being able to run that out into the GoPro. I'll show you the GoPro setup. So here's this GoPro setup that I have. It's got a little cage on it, and you can plug in an external mic in that. So that will sit on my helmet with a clamp or on the bike, and then I can run audio in with my Bluetooth communicator into the GoPro. That way, as I'm going down the road, if I want to do a video, I can actually narrate or talk or whatever, and the audio will be going directly into the GoPro. And there's the GoPro. That's a GoPro 8. It's very similar to the 7. I think it's a little bit different in the connections, but the reason I bought this little contraption is that the case that goes around the camera, basically because it gives you these connection points in the back. I don't know if you can see that. There's a couple of connection points in the back, and one of them is for power if you needed to get an external battery or something to get longer life. One of them is an HDMI, so you can go right out and use this as a regular camera if you're live streaming or something like that. And then there's a little one there where you can plug in an external mic, which was the important part for me because you can get better audio doing that. So, and that piece, it's called the Media Kit for the GoPro, and it's by the company itself, GoPro. And I think it's about $80 or something like that. If you can get them, they're kind of like on back order right now, but they should be getting some in the stores soon. So if you got a GoPro, it's a really cool add-on. So enough of that. Let me go back here. Hi, Zach Thong, Great Vanzini, Dr. Guitars in the house, Bam Ozzy, Brad Miller. A whole bunch of you this afternoon. Thank you for jumping in and helping me out with my my testing environment here. So let's play a track and see how that sounds. So you should be able to hear that. Let me shut the mic. All right. Okay, so hopefully that sounded okay as far as levels and sound. Nothing sounded kind of modulated or weird. The track and your playing sounds clear. Perfect. Okay, so that's good to know. Everything sounds balanced on volume, Bam says. Awesome. Well, there you go. Hopefully that fixes some issues. So there you go. And again, playing a telly today. The 51 reissue. She's a worker. Definitely great guitar to do any style of music with, that's for sure. And you know I am a Les Paul fan. There it is. Les Paul fan, obviously, but I do like the telly a lot. Now let me see why my other graphic isn't up. So that's a good way to test this. It should be up like that. Okay, that's cool. That's working. All sounded good. No noticeable issues at all. Perfect. Well, that's good. Okay, so that's coming through the iPhone. So we know that the iPhone connection to the mixer and the level of that is okay. So let me see. Let me try these sound effects and let me know if you hear these okay. So here's the first one. So you should have heard a crowd screaming there. Let me know if you heard that, because the sound effects are all programmed through this little Stream Deck thing that I showed a few weeks ago. And they're just basically a WAV file that I loaded up into my computer, and I programmed these buttons in front of me to basically trigger those things. In the way that it works, it should be, every time I trigger that, it should be going to my sound devices, which the mixer, and it should be coming through the streaming software, so I can do, whatever I want as far as sound effects. So round of applause. Okay, so you did hear that. You should hear this. And that should wake you up a little bit. And okay, so that's working. We know the graphics are working. I think you should see the graphics come on your screen. Okay, that's good. I'll be programming a few other things in the graphics as the days go on here, because I still have a lot of setup to do for work stuff, and I do some of my own graphics as well at the same time. So I hope to get that in place. The one thing that I am struggling with, there is a way to bring in your chat as far as into to the live stream, like you do in StreamYards and programs like that. But it's still a little bit wonky with this system that I'm using to bring in the graphics. So I need to see if I can figure that out, because it's basically connects to all my social media accounts. And then if I'm streaming to them, I can just put in the URL and it'll bring in your comments, and then I could bring them up on the screen like you do in StreamYards and stuff like that. So I'll be working on that solution this week, and hopefully I can get that figured out. It's just a constant constant kind of rolling around trying to figure out, okay, how do I make this work? And if I need to do this, how can I configure that to work? Because in essence, all this stuff that I'm doing, I bring it into my work environment, and then I produce the content for the college that I work for using all these techniques and all these systems that I put in place. But before I go and do that for real and work environment, I have to test it. So I figure I might as well test it on my own personal stuff. That way, if something like last night with the audio being all crappy, it happened on my stream. It's too bad that happened, but it's not the end of the world. If that happens in a work situation where you've got, our live streams at work usually get about 1,500 people live. You're taking time from people to log in and get educational stuff that they get credits for. If you do a screw up like the audio setup that I had last night and do that live at work, not so good. So, you're getting paid for that. So you got to make sure. So I use my show and some of the stuff that I test here and everything else as a kind of sandbox area for me to figure out stuff and then go bring it to work, and once I implement it there, at least I have tested it. And not to say that anything can't go wrong there, it can, but you got to do the most you can to not have that happen. Oh, we got Janice Lala. How's it going? Hey, you got the sound fixed? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's why I wanted to go live this afternoon, because I listened back to the stream in the morning and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys that were on my show last night, that you stayed there for the full hour, because I would have probably bowed out within 20 minutes of that horrible sound. But it is what it is. So as soon as I heard that, I was struggling today. I said, that's not going to fly with me. So I went to work and started to figure out some solutions and test. And so now that's why I said, well, let me go live and see if it works, because when you go live to YouTube, anything can happen. In here, it sounds great, but what came out of YouTube last night obviously was not. So that's the reason we're live this afternoon. And we got the dog paw. But can you do the metal hippie? No. Metal hippie is metal hippie, and I'm me. So, no, I can't do that. I do have some effects that I can put on my voice, like reverb and stuff like that, but for the right situation I'll bring it in if I'm doing like a game show thing, but just for this it's not necessary. The other thing that's going to be, hopefully, if I can get some a little bit more bandwidth in here, is bringing in a guest once in a while, as far as doing a quick interview. I don't do that, and the reason I don't do it is because of my situation with the bandwidth that I have here. So when you bring in a guest via Skype or StreamYard or something like that, you're using up a little bit more of your bandwidth. So when you don't have a lot to play with, it's risky to do that. So, but with the current situation I have going on here, as you can see, I am streaming at 720p today, and it seems to be solid. We'll have to see, if it holds up here for the next 20 minutes or 30 minutes, how long I go here. If that can work, then the next step in the system will be to bring in a Skype guest and do like an online interview or something like that. Like I can bring in a guest on, where is this screen? I can show you that screen. Will that work? So basically it would be me on one side and then the guest on the other side coming in via Skype. So I'd like to do some of that stuff in the future here and see how that works. But again, with the bandwidth being what it is, I don't want to really risk it. But I will do a test, and if I can get it to work and that I'm confident enough, I will maybe schedule a few shows and do like a guest interview with some people that I know. And if they're nice enough to come on my show, then we can do some different stuff like that. So no chipmunk covers. No, I think I'll leave that to the professionals. I'm just a bass player trying to play guitar, and that can be that could be enough work in itself. Let me see. So I've got headphones on, and it's a pain because this wire keeps pulling at my. Let me see if I can arrange that a little better. So it's very hot here today. I don't know how hot it is where you are, but man, it's like 30 degrees here. So 30 degrees is what in Fahrenheit? I think that would be like high 90s maybe. Dave R., if you're in here, he knows. But yeah, it's very hot. But we've got the air on. But see, when I'm in my studio, a lot of times I'll close these doors back there. And with all the equipment in here, it does get even hotter. So the air conditioning at the house is working quite hard today. So I'm sure that the hydro bill will reflect that at the end of the month. But got no choice. Otherwise, it'd be way too hot to even do any of this stuff, and the equipment would probably overheat. So we're gonna have to just suck it up and make it work. And then there's the clean stuff. I can do some stuff with clean. Let me see if that's programmed in here. A little bit of chorus. And back to dirt. So let me see if I'm missing anything in the chat. So no chipmunk covers. No, we're not doing that. Imagine how much it would be fun for a chipmunk cover of VH song to sneak into one of those education present. It could happen. You never know. Very warm in the UK as well. Bam. Oh, wow. So it's all over the place. Even at nearly 8. Oh, so it's 8:30 over there. That's right. You're way ahead of us. Overcast 73. That's nice. Small chance of thunder showers in East Texas. East Texas. Well, I would figure it'd be way hotter in Texas than that. But that's 70. Anything from 70 to 85 in that area is perfect. But when you get into the high 90s, man, that's warm. Especially over here with the humidity that we have, it can get quite toasty. Hey, Mitch Heyman in the house. How's it going, Mitch? Hope you're enjoying the new place. I'm not sure if you're done work today or if you work today, but Mitch is going to be retiring this year, I think, in July. So only a few months left, buddy. Hope you enjoy that. CN 8800, how's it going, John? So John, CN 8800 again is a friend of mine from New Brunswick, which is funny because I have, well, summer vacations, and stuff like that we, that me and my wife, our families are all from New Brunswick. And with this situation with the COVID stuff that we can't even go visit our family this summer, it looks like, because of the border stipulations and all that stuff. If you go from Ontario to another province, whether it's Quebec or New Brunswick, you have to basically, once you get to that province, you get to self-isolate for 14 days. So obviously, if I went to New Brunswick to visit family, I would have to go to either my mom's house or my wife's mom's house and stay there for 14 days before I can actually go out and, visit people or do whatever it is that you want to do on vacation, which is crazy to me, but So needless to say, we will not be venturing to New Brunswick this summer, it looks like, unless something changes. But in Ontario, we're still getting about 400 cases a day, which is insane. We're the highest. Well, I think Quebec is a little bit higher than us, but the two provinces, Quebec and Ontario. So if you're going into another province from Ontario, and you're going to get scanned and everything because of the amount of cases we have here. So unless that changes, I don't think that they're going to stop. They're going to take off the border restrictions and let us, go into other places without self-quarantine. But, man, that sucks. It's going to be a weird summer. John, CN 8800, John says, no festival this year. No, that's the other thing. I was supposed to play live this year for the first time in, last time I played live would have been 2008, I think. Around that time, which is insane when you really think about it. When I played with the band Smeer, I played, every weekend we were playing. And from 1998 to 2008, so 10 years of just constantly touring, playing, it was insane. And I haven't played live since then. And I was offered to play at this big festival that they have in New Brunswick every year, because the band Smeer was very much known in the East Coast. We had songs on the radio and stuff, and the organizers of the festival asked me, since they knew I was getting back into music and stuff, if I would come up and play 4 or 5 songs with this band that I know that will be headlining that Friday night at the festival, the big concert thing. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And we had songs picked out and everything, and I was going to be playing guitar to boot, right? So I've been a bass player playing live all my life, but I never got on stage to play guitar. So that was going to be a very interesting situation. And everything was set to go, and they canceled the event, obviously, because of the whole COVID thing. So as far as I know, I think they're keeping the same lineup for next year's festival. So next year, end of June, where they have the festival. If I hope everything is back to normal by then, but assuming it is, they will have the festival then, and then I am invited to go back and play the way that I was supposed to do this year. So that's a good thing, but man, it's a weird situation. So that would have been the first time I played live as a guitar player to boot in over 10 years. That's crazy when I think about it. John says we just got our second case today in Campbellton region. Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure you're still going to get a few cases come up in some areas, but you guys don't have anything to worry about, I think, because your cases are just, very, very small, and I think they have it pretty well under control. Compared to what we have here in Ontario, it's night and day difference. Like I said, we had 400 cases announced today, 400 yesterday, 400 the day before. It's just, it needs to go down a lot more before they start to lift some of these restrictions. Gussie Wells, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, enjoying this heat. Gussie says, been checking out property. And I know, and that's the other thing, right? Since we've started working remotely full time now, since March, both me and my wife, we're hoping that our companies basically adapt this new way of working and let us work remotely on a more permanent basis. To eventually, the goal is to move back to New Brunswick, because like Gussie says, property and cost of living and stuff is very different there. It's a lot less. So this house that I'm living in New Brunswick, where it'd be half the price of what it is here, if not less than that, and what we could sell our house for, go back down there and buy a house pretty much outright and keep our jobs, would be absolutely amazing. It would be the dream come true, basically. It's something that I've had in my head for many, many, many years now. When I got into the job that I'm into and working my way to being able to do everything I do at work from home, which I have been doing now full time for the last couple of months. And I think the company sees that, and hopefully there can be something come out of this that would allow us to basically pursue that dream of moving back, because all our family is down there. Like me and my wife here in Ontario, we're the only two that are here. Everybody else, my mom, her sisters, brothers, my sister, my niece, nephew, everybody is there in New Brunswick. So we see them twice a year. We go down for Christmas, and we usually try to get down there in the summer to spend a week or so. But that's it. And they're, my mom and her mom are getting older and stuff, and it's just, and not that I don't like Ontario, I really like it here and stuff, and you have access to everything here as far as music stores and concerts and all kinds of stuff that you don't have access to back there. But at some point, you have to look at the bigger picture and say, I've only got so much time left here, and I need to make the most of it. And if you can keep your job, I mean, Christ, that's a make the salaries you do here in Ontario, but live down there. That's the goal, and if you can ever do that, so we're looking at that. Like Gussie says, I've been looking at the properties down there and saw some stuff that I'm interested in, but The other thing is, I don't know what the market in Ontario is going to be like. We're going to have to wait it out here to see what's going to happen with the housing market after all this stuff is done with the COVID situation. Will it bounce back to where it was prior to this, which was a pretty hot market, so your property was worth a lot? But now I don't know how that's shifted, so I'm waiting to see what happens with that. I know that interest rates for mortgages and stuff has gone down quite a bit. So if you're a buyer of property, I think it's a good time if you're getting a mortgage or something like that to get into it. But if folks aren't working and making money, they can't afford to buy houses at premium prices and stuff, then obviously the market might be a little slower. So a lot of stuff to consider when you're looking at stuff like that. It can be quite interesting. Let me see if I'm missing anything in the chat. Yeah, okay. Gussie says, wife wants to stay in Canada. I want Arizona, but NB is amazingly cheaper. Yeah, definitely. Oh, what's going on with my camera? Oh, I think my camera situation here is kind of acting up. Hold on. What's going on with this thing? Are you guys seeing this? My camera's kind of freaking out a little bit. Hold on, let me try to fix it.